Alright, some depressing Wikipedia here. So, Rockwell built the space shuttles, and this is the very first space shuttle that went up into space, the Columbia. It was named after the first American ship to actually circle the globe. This space shuttle also had ejection seats, which are what those rectangles or boxes are on the top there. Those seats were from the SR-71 Blackbird, and so they were used for the first 6 flights up until 1983. This thing actually flew 28 different flights, and over 300 days were up in space, and over 4,000 times it orbited the Earth. And that happened all between 1981 and 2003. And sadly, the depressing part is in 2003, the thing disintegrated on re-entry. So here's an image when it was taking off. Something fell off and caused some sort of foam debris, which caused this dust cloud in the wing. So there was some sort of hole in the wing, and when it re-entered the atmosphere, that hole, it burned up the thing, so it disintegrated. The length of this thing is quite large, as you can hopefully see in this image next to these people. This thing is over 37 meters long and over 23 meters wingspan, and it weighed 78,000 kilograms. So it's a big, big vehicle. But that's because it has payloads, right? So that's part of, like, I don't know, maybe the space station, some sort of module of some sort, or satellite, not sure. Okay. Alright, so looking closer at the model kit, the first thing you notice is this little astronaut, which is cool. It has some decals. I don't know, the instructions didn't say where these two decals go, so I just assumed they go on the astronaut. And the only thing you really have to paint is the visor. And then this metal wire they provide you, this is probably half the length, and it's very ductile. You can bend it repeatedly. I just bent it around a pencil or a pen, and that's what gives the smooth curvature. But you can move it around and all that if you really wanted to. This is actually supposed to be white, but I painted it in off-white just to be a little different from the rest of the thing. And I've seen images where this is covered in aluminum foil, but I just painted it silver out of laziness. It does have landing gear, but I figured, why would you have landing gear on a space shuttle if you have an astronaut, hanging off of it? So I basically removed the landing gear, but the holes for the landing gear are still there, right? These look like they could be thrusters, but these are kind of silly looking. But I don't look at the bottom of the model too often, so I'm not that concerned. And then coincidentally, this is a 2mm rod with the 3D printed stand I made, and that's what it's going to sit in. But you could have it in landing mode. If you trimmed off these plastic parts, you could probably just have it closed up and landing, but I mean, that's the highlight for me. You got the little robotic arm there, so the decals are good. I wasted time painting the plastic window because there's a decal that goes over it. So no, you don't need to paint the window, except for the backside maybe, because it's a clear piece of plastic, and if you don't paint the backside, you're just going to see into a big open cavity. So that's why there's blue back there. But the black you can ignore because that's what this decal is. There are the ejection seat things there, some sort of warnings. There are even decals of NASA and Columbia there. I put them on backwards, but since you really don't see them, I don't care. That's some sort of hatch, thrusters perhaps. This is a giant decal covering up the whole rear wing, so it's bigger than it should, so it can wrap around. You got to use some really strong, like Mark Fit Super Strong from Tamiya is what I used to wrap it around. I did one side, wrapped it, then did the other side and wrapped it around, and it turned out okay. The thrusters are not detailed at all on the inside, pretty weak. At least you got the ridges on the outside, but that could have been, I guess, because of the molding. But they could have put in some vertical, things without, and still molded it. Alright, putting it together, no major problems. There really aren't that many parts, but nothing was really out of whack as far as the warping goes. These, maybe a little bit, so I had to glue them and hold them in place for like 5-10 minutes to fill in this seam. And actually this one's still stretched open, little air gaps. This one's sealed down a lot better. So those could have been fit better or designed better. Alright, well, anyways, it's still cool to have basically what looks like an egg that became the space shuttle. And you have the little astronaut as well. I don't really have space vehicles to compare to, so just pull out two other Hasegawas. Here's a Harrier, and here's an F-86 Sabre. So this thing's got pretty big wings. The Harrier's much cooler, I think, because it's all compact like this. But they seem to change the way they do these egg things. Alright. So very cool. I looked online and there is actually an eggplane where this is carried by the 747, the SCA. But that's long out of production. I can't find them for sale anywhere. So if I'm lucky, maybe someone will have an unfinished kit. Or even if it's painted well, I'll buy a finished kit. It'd be really cool to see an egg-shaped 747 carrying an egg-shaped space shuttle. But only time will tell if that ever comes up for sale. Alright, well thank you for watching, and we'll see you the next time around.